Oh, hi! I didn't see you there. Welcome back to Section Math 4th grade. It's good to have you here. All right, so we're going to get started. The things that you are going to need for today are obviously your math book, and you should have your math book open to lesson 97 on pages 612, 613, and you'll need a piece of paper and a pencil. All right, if you have those items, we are going to get started. In your last lesson, which was 96, so today we'll be doing lesson 97, you learned about average, okay? And when you had numbers together, you were averaging them together. Today we're going to build on that knowledge with 5 more terms that have to do with numbers. Our first term is mean, median, then median, outlier, range, and then mode. The first term we're going to deal with is mean. Now, because we just learned average, mean is going to be very familiar to you. Remember, with average, we added the numbers and then we divided it by the number of numbers. Median is the same thing. For example, we are going to use Ian. Ian is our friend. I don't know, someone's friend. And we're going to look at his 7 game scores. And if we look at the scores, he has 80, 85, 85, 10, must not have done well that day, 90, 90, and 85. In order for us to find the mean, we need to add these numbers together and divide it by the number of numbers provided. Let's do that right now. As you can see, the numbers are written horizontally. We need to write them vertically. So we're going to do that. Okay. So remember, when we're adding, we start on the one side. We take a look. 5, 10, 15. We write down the 5. Carry the 1. And as I'm looking here and I'm adding these numbers, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 eighths are 32, 33, 34. 34 plus 9 is 43. 43 plus 9 is 52. The total of the scores together is 52. But now we need to find the mean, or the average. So we take 525 divided by 7, because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. So remember, when we're dividing, can 7 go into 5? No. Can 7 go into 52? Yes. How many times without going over? We'd say 7. 7 times 7 is 49. We subtract 3, bring down the 5. How many times can 7 go into 35? 5 times. Because this is even, it ends up being a 0, there is no remainder. And this is our mean, which would be 75. Okay? Now, when we're doing these examples, these are the examples in your book. You're probably wondering, do I need to be writing these down? Do I need to be doing these with her? Yes, you should. This will help you. We will go through the examples. You can see me doing them, you're doing them, and they're also in your book. Okay? So our mean is 75. We're now going to go on to the next example and the next term. So now as we're moving on, we saw that mean means the same as average. The next is median. Median is our next term, and the median is the middle number when the numbers are arranged in order. When you take a look at these numbers, you see that we have 80 here, but that's definitely not the smallest number, where 10 is. And 90 should be on the other side. So when we're finding median, one of the first things that you want to do is to put the numbers in order. from smallest to biggest. So we're going to do that right now. And a way that I'm going to do it to make sure that I'm not repeating numbers or forgetting numbers is I'm going to put a check mark on top of the numbers as I write them in order. I suggest you do the same. So I look here, I find my smallest number, which is 10. I put a check there. And my next would be 80. Then I have 85, and I have 3 of them. So 1, 2, 3. And then I have 2 90s. Okay, so now we have them in order, and then what we want to do is we want to find the middle number. Where is the middle? Well, a way that you can do this is you start on your outsides and cross them out as you go. So we're going to go here. This is the end, and we're going to work our way in. Middle number. That is our median. Okay, now, well, that's great now because we ended up having 7 numbers. But what if you don't? What if you have an even number? Then what do you do? So let's pretend that we don't have a 10, right? So we don't have the 10, and instead, we are left with 6 numbers. Well, there is no middle number. What am I supposed to do? Then what you do is you continue to cross out like you normally would, and then you see what are the 2 middle numbers that are left. The 2 middle numbers that are left are 85 and 85. Simply, all you do is then find the mean of those 2, or the average. You add them together and divide them by 2. Which ends up being 85, which ends up being the same that we found there. All right, moving on. So we know, remember, mean is the average. You add them all together, divide them by the numbers. Median is when you put them in order. You find your middle number. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the outlier. Now, outlier is a number that's kind of on the outside of the other numbers. If you see the word out, that is key, because it means it's kind of outside the realm of the other numbers, and it's very far from the other scores. So for example, if I was going to create a number line, and I was going to count by tens, and we're going to take a look at our scores here and see where would they fall on the number line. So again, I'll look at my numbers, cross them out as I go. And so I see I have an 80, 180. So I'll put a little X here to represent that number. I have 385. So I'll go in between, go 1, 2, 3. And then I have 2 90s, which are right here. And then I got this guy, number 10. If you look at a number line, you see this is so far away from the rest of your numbers. This one is going to be considered your outlier because it is extremely far away from the other numbers. So the outlier for this one would be 10. So again, mean is average, median is what is in the middle, outlier is the number that's far away from your other numbers on your scores. All right, following me so far? You guys are doing fantastic. Our other number that we're going to have, or I'm sorry, our other term that we're working with today is range. Range is the difference between the largest number and the smallest number in your scores. So it's pretty easy. So if we take a look, obviously the largest number is 90. And when we're finding difference, that means it's the answer to a subtraction problem. So 90 minus the smallest number, which is 10, and our answer would be 80. That is the range. And then finally, The last term that we are going to learn today is mode. Mode is the score or the number that appears the most in your list. So if we take a look at our list of Ian's 7 game scores, the number that occurs the most seems to be 85. If you take a look, 10 is once, 8 is only once, but then 85, 1, 2, 3, and 90 is 2. Well, obviously from looking at that, we can see that mode would be 85. So those are our terms that we're learning today. So now you need to apply it to your assignment. So let's take a look at page 614, and we're going to go through the lesson practice letters A, B, C, and D. Let's do that right now. All right. So if we're taking a look at letter A, it says find the mean, median, mode, and range of Janelle's game points shown below. Is there an outlier in this set of points? Okay, so we're going to take a look at her scores. So Janelle, according to this, her scores are 50, 80, 90, 85, 90, 95, 90, and 100. So according to that, there's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, that's 8 as well. So remember, now we're gonna find the mean. Remember what we talked about before. Remember, mean was the average. So we're gonna add these all together, average them out to find our answer. So remember that we don't add them horizontally, we add them vertically. So let's do that right now. And you should be writing this out on your paper as well. So if I take a look, remember I do the one side first. I have 5, 10, put my 0. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 times 9 is 36. 36 plus 8 is 44. Plus 1 is 45. 50, 58, 680. So then I would take 680, and since there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, I'm now going to take my answer, divide it by 8. 8 can go into 68 8 times. Eight can go into 40 5 times evenly. There is no remainder. So the answer for my mean for Janelle is going to be 85. When you write your answer for letter A, when you write that down, you want to make sure that you label what each number means. So if you're writing mean, you want 85. All right, next thing we need to find is the median, okay? So what we're gonna do is now we're gonna look for the median. Remember, trying to remember, like, what do these terms mean? The median is the middle number when they're arranged in order, okay? So let's do that right now. We're gonna take a look at them, put them in order. Now remember, it looks like there's 8, so we have a even number that we're dealing with. So we'll start with 50, 80, 85, 3 90s, 95, and 100. So I go from the outside in, like I showed before, and then I have my 2. Well, if we take a look, if you obviously add these two together, divided by 2, it's going to be 90. But again, if you're like, well, are you sure about that? Let's do it. So it looks like my median is 90. Our next one we're looking for is the mode. And remember to review, if you're trying to remember what mode actually means, is the number that occurs the most often. So if we take a look over here, if I'm looking in Janelle's scores, the number that appears to come up the most is 90. And then finally, we're going to take a look at the range. Remember, range again, range is the smallest number subtracted from the biggest number. If we look over here, we have 100 is our biggest, 50 is our smallest, and we get 50. And then finally, our outlier, the one that stands out from the rest, it's kind of far off. If you take a look, if we were to create a number line, everything seems to be between the 80 and 100 range, and then we got our friend over here, the 50, which is over there as well. Okay? So now you look at letter B. You are going to have another problem where you're going to have to find the mean, median, mode, and range. I would like for you right now to work on finding those answers. Please pause the video at this point, work on finding your answers, and when you get back, we will check to see if you got them correct. Good luck. Okay. All right, so you just got done working on letter B. If you did this correct, so remember we have A is here, we're going to take a look at letter B. Your mean should have been 29. Your median should have been 30. Mode 31. And range, your answer should be 6. Hopefully you got that all right. If you didn't, go back and check it. And when we have our check-in time, you can always ask me about that, okay? Finally, let's take a look at letter C. We have 2 more to go and we're done. It says find the median of the test scores shown below. Explain how you found your answer. Remember again, median is when the numbers are arranged in order. This is the one that's in the middle. Okay, so if we take a look, they're actually nicely written in order for us, but we're going to take a look at them very quickly to make sure that we are good. So for letter C, 75, 80, 80, 90, 95, and 100. So from the outside in, we have our 2 numbers here. It's even, so in order for us to find these averages, we have to average these 2 together. So for letter C, we're going to add 80 plus 90. And then we need to find our mean or average. 2 can go into 17. We can't do 9, but we can do 8. And that is even, no remainder. Okay, so your answer for letter C to find your median would be 85. Finally, we're going to take a look at our last problem. Yes, you're almost there. We're going to take a look at letter D. Every X on this line stands for the age of a child attending a party. How many children attended the party? So if you take a look at letter D, and I'm not going to write this up for you because you have this right in front of you right now. We're going to count the X's together. Let's count the X's starting on the left, then going to the right. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. The number of X's represent the number of children attending the party. So for letter D, sorry about that. we would write 12 children. And our second question is, what is the mode of the range? So if you take a look, you need to look at your chart, find which number has the most vertical X's going up and down. As you look at that number line in front of you, I think you can all obviously see that it is at the age of 10. So your second answer would be 10 years old. One other thing I want to point out to you before we close this lesson, I know on letter C it talked about having an explanation for that. You do not have to write an explanation out for that. I think that as long as you can show me that you understand this and you are writing your work down, I think we'll be good. So that is our lesson for today. Lesson 97, mean, median, range, mode, and also we learned about outlier. I hope you learned something new. If you have any questions, you know you can always contact me, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.